Eternal people, welcome to United View and welcome to an overview show. It feels like a long time since we've done it because of the postponements and all of this stuff, the disjointedness nature of the league. But it is Derby Day across the country, one at the top end of the country in the northwest, one in North London. So we had to bring out the big hitters. We brought with Tom. What are you saying, Man City fan?
My brother.
What's going on? The judge
How
has come through. What's happening?
I'm good, thanks.
Fuad. In front of his famous Spurs kit. As you can see, first of all, we've all bought our shirts here. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's got their kit. And Spurs are unsponsored right now, Fuad. So you had one job.
Sorry, I had one job to bring the kit and I left it on my bed as I was leaving.
It's all right.
The rush of the game, so.
Yeah, exactly. But we've got a lot to get into. We're going to be talking about the rest of the Premier League as well. But let's start with you two. Arsenal taking on Spurs at the Emirates. Fuad, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you lot are both in form. You're all joint on points. It's really tight up there. Arsenal have been doing, you know, we're top of the league for a little while now. But you've won one in the last 29 games at the Emirates, at Tottenham. That's Tottenham. How are you feeling going into this?
Honestly, North London Derby week, it's always nerve-wracking, even if it's home or away. But the fact that it's away, as you said, I don't think we've ever had much luck. Similarly, Arsenal never have much luck at our ground. It just seems to be that kind of fixture. But one thing I've always said with this derby, personally, I think it's the best derby in the league. I think when you look at entertainment-wise, goal-wise, action, aggression,
hold on.
everything you need.
I don't know about that. I was
going
to let him finish first.
You look at the last 10 to 20
is it the
years.
best derby in the league?
You look at the last 10 to 20 years. What have been the most entertaining games? 4-4s.
You've had some good ones.
3-0s, 3-1s, and it's always been like world-class goals within that as well. I feel like in the North London derby.
Yeah, I am. I don't agree with a Spurs fan too much. Listen, I will do this because if you look at the derby games now, we were talking about this earlier on. Manchester United, biggest rivals Liverpool. Manchester City, probably not. Like Liverpool's been in Liverpool, Everton. You're looking at like Man United. Arsenal, Spurs is the main one. Like I don't ever get that feeling when we're playing Chelsea or West Ham or whatever. Like Arsenal, Spurs is there, and you know he's right. He's one of the most entertaining games as well. Like been lots of goals. He forgot to mention the 5-2s, but I'll just
I was thinking, when's he going to drop it here?
But so I do. Well, I think it is. I think it is the biggest one there. Like, you know, there's no Birmingham derby no more.
Yeah.
And even the fact that I think it's relatively competitive in positions over the last.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fair fight now.
So it's literally. So I feel like with that obviously taken into account, I think it will be a massive game this weekend, regardless of what the result is. We haven't been playing great. This is what I'm kind of banking on, but we've been grinding out the results. Looking at Arsenal, they're the complete opposite. Champagne football. All their signings are blended in, and with us, I don't think all of our signings have kind of.
Listen, Lee's like, I like this one. He's alright.
Listen, I can be honest. You know what I mean? I can appreciate good football because we're not playing much of it. But with Conte, one thing I've seen is the mentality has definitely changed under this squad. And even in games when we're kind of down and out, we still will kind of fight through. And this is his first trip to the Emirates because last time it was Nuno when you spanked us last year. So for me, I want to see kind of how the squad reacts under him because we've been good at a lot of the kind of Big Six games. So it'll be interesting to see.
Lee, Arsenal, like he says, playing champagne football, doing really well under Mikel Arteta. Got derailed by us, but quickly back at it to Brentford, shut them up, you know, put them to the sword. Yeah. Then it's international break. But how are you feeling about this Arsenal chances?
I'm pretty confident because we're at home. That's first and foremost. I do think that is massive. We're talking off air. I think like if it was the other way around, I'd be a little bit more nervous. But we are playing really, really well. Bit of a setback against you guys, but in saying that, we could have easily won that game. Yeah. That was the thing. We played really well. Bit of naivety. That is the worry because the counter attack. I personally think that Tottenham are the best counter attacking team in England, probably in Europe. They're lethal. Outplayed against Chelsea, didn't lose.
They're just like a little pest that wouldn't go away in that game.
But so that tells you everything. When you look back at Arsenal in that, they hung in there against Chelsea. Didn't deserve to get anything, but did. We didn't do that against Man United. A little bit of naivety, a little bit like.
Remember City
Conte,
last year.
Yeah, they got City's number.
Yeah. They got City's number because of the way they set up. The way that what they do is they want you to go 3 against 3. you know, get you on the counter attack. When they're 3 against 3, they're lethal. So Arsenal got to be a little bit cautious of that. I think that for me the key is if Arsenal get on top, got to take our chances. You know, I think even against you guys, we didn't take our chances. We don't think we hit the target. Like,
no, there wasn't like gilt-edged chances where you
got into some good positions, either the wrong ball or hit it over the bar and all that. Like, if we're ruthless, if we can be as ruthless as they are on the counter attack, then I think we'll be fine.
And I think what you said there as well, in a lot of the North London derbies where you have been out of sight, it's usually a goal in the first 15 minutes, whether it's Adebayor getting a red card or whatever it is. It's always that early first 20 minutes. Always, I feel like sets the tempo in a North London derby.
This isn't actually on specifically the derby, but because obviously we've got a City fan here. Are they title challengers?
I think so. I mean, I don't think they'll.
Can they keep up with you?
Dark horse.
I don't think they'll keep up for the full run.
No.
But I do honestly think Arsenal could finish second this year, and I think in a way, this derby game will tell us more about Arsenal, or will be more impactful for Arsenal than it will be for Spurs. Because I think Spurs kind of, through Conte, I've almost got this kind of like, people have got a confidence in them that's almost like an unproven confidence. People are like, Spurs will do well, they'll be fine. Whereas Arsenal, Whereas Arsenal, people are almost waiting for them to fail. And that, we've seen it with the United game, they lost one game after winning however many on the bounce, and everyone was like, here we go, Arsenal are going to be fifth, United are going to finish above them. So I think for Arsenal, if Arsenal can beat Tottenham, I think it's another step towards telling people you've got to really respect us and respect what we're doing. Whereas Spurs, if they lose, I don't think people are suddenly going to be like, Conte's washed, Spurs are washed. They're going to, I think people will probably, do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like people are against you, be like, they'll fall off soon?
I think that, I think you when you look at Arsenal, and there's nothing against Mikel Arteta, he's still learning the game and all that. People believe Spurs are going to be where they are because of Conte. Nothing about how poor they're playing, or I'm not saying they're playing poor, but you know what I mean. Their football's not been great, but don't worry, Conte get it right. Conte. Where I think with Arsenal there is that little bit of negativity because it's Arteta, But that's I think it's a fantastic point. If we get the result against Tottenham, that pushes us then to go to Liverpool. I think then if we could win the next 2 games, people would then be saying, "Oh right, this is the real deal for Arsenal," But because the inexperience of Arteta and things like that, there's that little, but we'll see what happens. But I think that, if we can get, like for instance, if Tottenham go and lose to Man United, they won't be questioning Conte.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But because it's us at the moment, we're getting questions. So we need to address that and put it right.
But isn't it a thing where? But then on the flip side, Arsenal normally do beat Spurs at home now. Yeah. So if Arsenal win, which I do think they will.
Is it really a surprise?
It's like one in the last 29 every time they rock up the Emirates. It doesn't really matter who the manager is, or do you think it's different?
North London derby, no matter what, you want to win that for bragging rights purposes. But I think the fact that they have had that little blip at United, got back at Brentford, the last thing you want is to drop points in North London derby before your European campaign starts.
Yeah, but it gets
Liverpool
really busy
after that as well. So it's like, I feel like it can be kind of one of those games where it really, all of a sudden, before you know, it's a slippery slope from that. So for me, I think in that aspect, for Arsenal, it's very important. But
in terms of your starting lineup, because I saw that obviously there was a lot of criticism towards Son before obviously he was put to the bench and then went, right, I'm ready.
And listen,
does he start this game?
I think rightly so, he got dropped.
Yeah.
I think every Spurs fan was calling for it. I mean, 7 games without a goal, and it's within that, it's not just the lack of goals, it was the performances. Completely MIA, sometimes costing us. But when you come back and put that kind of game on,
North London derby, next game as well,
for me, what's key is international. He's gone away. He's banging free kicks,
kick,
some great goals in the second game.
He looks back in it, he's like, right, I'm ready to start the season.
So for me, it's like the fact that we have these options up front, this is what Spurs fans have been crying for. We've been so reliant on Kane only, or Kane and Son, or sometimes one or the other turns up. Now it's like you've got Kulusevski on the other side, Richarlison. So for me, I would love if Kulusevski maybe plays at right wing back, and you've got Perisic on the other side, and then the front three of Richarlison, Son.
Because that's what I was going to ask you, because I know in the summer you was like, Richarlison, but I remember you saying it's just a lot of money and that.
And
but
that's my biggest issue.
But then I saw a lot of other Spurs fans were saying okay, the money's high, but it's about what you just said. When it goes a bit wrong with someone like a Son, let's bring in Richarlison and look what he's been doing.
And that's been my biggest surprise for me. I always said was the money we're paying, are we going to get guaranteed end product? Are we going to get consistency? Because from what I've seen in his numbers, they're not great.
Yeah.
In a team where he was starting week
Has he elevated his game?
Now,
Is he shown that he can do it?
This is what I'm shocked at. I think under Conte's really that type of manager who can get more out of a player who's a 7 out of 10. He can get an 8 or 8.5. And I think that's what he's done with Richarlison. Richarlison's that kind of guy. He loves the grit and grind as well. Loves that running. If he can add end product to his game, he's worth that. That profile of player, being able to plug into multiple positions, come in and do that, I'll hold my hands up and say, listen, I was wrong. And I said very early on, if man of the match in your first Champions League game, go and bag us the winners against Fulham as well. I said, listen, I've turned. I said, I'm all on board now. Okay. I bumped into him even at the airport, so I was like, hey, listen.
He's had a little selfie now.
We got new clientele. Listen, come man.
But he didn't tell him he thought he was a waste of money then.
Say, oh, you're great, you.
I like you.
Lee, from an Arsenal perspective, you look at your signings and how they've bedded in. I wanted to talk about Gabriel Jesus quickly. I mean, I saw him, obviously I've always seen him up close from playing with you guys, so I had an idea of how good he can be on his day. Been watching him obviously from afar and the highlights and stuff, but when we played against you and I sat in my seat, I'm not gonna lie, I went, special. I had that. I was like, oh, he's good, isn't it? Special.
I'm going to be really honest. When we signed him, I wasn't that overly excited about it. I thought,
is he clinical?
You want a Richarlison?
Is he going to get me 20 goals?
I like Richarlison. I've watched a few of it. I quite like Richarlison. I like the way he's got that nasty streak and all that aggressive streak. And I thought that's something that we need more than Jesus sort of type. If I'll be honest, that's
character.
Yeah, a little bit of nasty, be a bit of aggressive, a bit nasty. Like I don't think we've got enough of that Arsenal. Then he come in and I've watched him play and I've gone, my God, you know what I mean? Like
that's what you needed.
It was just unbelievable, like and I didn't really notice him that much. I think what's happened with him at Man City was just one of many good players, but now he's gone to Arsenal. Even though Arsenal got some very, very good players, he's the main man.
Best,
and I look at it, and probably when he was at Man City, Friday afternoon, going into a team meeting, am I going to be playing? Am I not? Oh, well, I am playing today, I'm not. When he walks into that meeting at Arsenal, he knows he's the main man, and he's took it on board unbelievably well.
How do you think he does in this sort of game? This is what you bought. This is it, isn't it?
This is the game for me because I think as well as he's played, and I think he's been fantastic for us. He's missed a few chances. Yeah. You know, he could have scored 3 against Brentford. He could have had a couple here, a couple there. This is the game.
You want him to turn up here,
This is the game. I think that he kept, like I've watched him play against you guys and Man United. I watched him against Brentford. He turns players. And these are quality defenders, by the way, going different. They're going, where's he gone? Where's he gone? Like, if he can do that against Tottenham, and then get the goals, this is where he's going to, you score against Spurs, like
you're ready an Arsenal legend straight away.
Cult hero status. We've had that in the past with players and all that. But I think if he was to now on this more than a cult hero, he's going to be the
from a City perspective. What he's saying about Jesus.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything different in Jesus from going there and getting a new lease of life, or are you like I could have told you that? Like,
so in fairness, from when Arsenal first signed him, I was chatting to Premsy and some other Arsenal fans, and I was saying I don't think you guys realise what you've got here because
really,
I think you could see at City how good he was, but I think it's what you're saying that he was one amongst many, but also oftentimes in a Pep team you have to play a particular role, and for City his mandate wasn't go out there, get goals. The ball isn't going to be coming into your feet all the time. It's going to be coming through you. It's going to be going around you. Sometimes he was playing this wide role that was quite defensively disciplined in certain ways, but you could see the quality he had. And you got to remember when we first bought him from Brazil, there was guys in Brazil that were saying this is the best Brazilian striker we've had since R9. That was the kind of talk
that they were talking about like that.
You know what I mean? So I had a feeling that he's going to go to Arsenal. He's going to be in a setup where he's a rare situation where it's a player that's got a point to prove but has also already won it pretty much all. So you bring that winner's mentality but still the hunger to want to prove something, and I think it's rare you can get a player that has those two things, and that's what he came into Arsenal with. It's like, okay, I'm bringing in that winner's mentality that's spread throughout the rest of the club, but also I'm bringing in a hunger to prove to people, no, I'm that guy. I'm going to score 20 goals. I'm going to score 25 goals.
He could go to Arsenal on a jolly up.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got Premier League titles in the bag. I've got countless.
It's not my fault if you lose.
I've got FA Cup. I've got League Cups.
World Cup round the corner as well.
Exactly. And he didn't even get into the last one.
Exactly. And right now, who's holding the number 9 shirt? Big Richie.
That's
18
insane.
goals in 37
That's
caps.
crazy. I mean, yeah, Brazil looking. I mean, it's
that's
peak for England
ridiculous.
if we come up against them.
Yes.
So okay, on this game then, let's get some predictions then, and how you think the game's gonna go. Fuad, I'll start with you. How do you think this game's gonna go?
1-1 draw.
Do you believe in your heart? Yeah. Okay.
That's the hopeful within me.
1-1. So you don't think you're gonna beat them?
I don't think so, no, not at the Emirates. Listen, I would love to, but from the way we've been playing, I don't know, unless we come back rejuvenated. I think a lot of the players have done well on international break, but at the Emirates is always tough, and the way they're playing at the minute, I don't know.
I think for Spurs to win, Arsenal have to do something completely
they have to
uncharacteristic.
capitulate early on.
Yeah,
in my
I
opinion.
think
Lee, how do you see it?
Listen, if it was the other way round and we was at Tottenham, I'd be saying 1-1, but hopeful. I know he's hopeful that they can win the game because that's how you feel. But you take the point. I think Arsenal, you know, because of that home advantage. I'm not being arrogant when I say that. I do think that's a big thing. I think there'll be goals. I think but I think Arsenal will just shade it 3-2. But
More 3-2.
But I think it'd be a good game, and because of that home advantage, I do think that's the key. I think even for you two guys when you're coming up and talking your game, I do think it's key.
You know what they say sometimes though? Form goes out of the windows. And
It does, doesn't it?
does,
But just not
yeah.
once in the last. It's only once in the last. Form goes out the
I
window.
love
but
that stat,
29 is the stat.
You're killing me.
That's the only stat we need. You know, you can do the whole this thing and this goal. This player's got this. Let's just say they've won there once in the last nearly 30 years.
That
30
and
seasons.
Stamford Bridge.
Insane.
Do you think Conte will be aware of that? Do you think Conte will be aware of?
Oh, he'll know they
and
haven't
feel
won
like
there in
that's
ages.
another
I
scout
think
for us.
he
If I
does.
can be the guy to go and
This
get
is
that,
Conte.
it's almost like
I
a
would love
trophy.
that.
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
think he'll change his game. He's sitting there.
Yeah.
He's sitting there like he did against Chelsea, and that's what. Whether you like that or not, there's a begrudging admirer of it that they stick in there no matter what, won't change it, and it got them the point at
And
Chelsea.
in a game like this, it actually suits us playing away against a team
Yeah,
that
yeah.
plays front foot football.
Like
It
when you
doesn't
play
make
City.
sense trying to go toe to toe with play to your advantage.
What's your prediction for that game?
I've been flip-flopping. I think I am going to go Arsenal. I do think that Arsenal are the better side. I just think Conte is a really good game manager and he's able to just win a game. Even if over the course of the season, I think Arsenal will finish above him. So that's the thing that's giving me a bit of hesitancy. But I think Jesus will come good. I think it'll be 3-1 Arsenal. I think he'll get 2 maybe.
That's exactly the prediction I've gone with as well.
No way.
Yeah,
Wicked.
3-1 because I just feel that standoff approach is how you play.
Yeah.
The problem with doing that against this Arsenal side in their backyard, they're just getting too much momentum. And I think once one goes in that period, I think it could be difficult for you to get back in. But if you come out of that period, you know, half an hour, half time, 0-0, I just feel like,
that
there
first
might be
20
something
minutes, I said it will decide the whole game, in my opinion.
Okay, that's the first game down. Let us know what you guys think about that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And remember, you guys can vote for us at the Football Content Awards. We're in 3 categories, so make sure you guys go and vote there. Just quickly, how funny is this, yeah? There's 3 categories we're in, yeah? But there's one category that they've put me in by myself, yeah? I'm up against Fabrizio Romano and Maya Jama are in that category. Now, I know you're guests on the channel. I know you're guests on the channel and you'd like to say, go on Flex, you got a chance. But I'm against Mr. Here We Go and Maya Jama in the category.
You're done.
Amongst others as well.
bro.
But,
Stick a fork in you.
but
Park
please,
that one.
all the votes count, innit?
Yeah.
So go and, you know.
Still, you're in it.
I'm in it.
Form goes out the window.
You know them
what
ones
I
that
mean?
the awards. I'm just happy to be amongst great company. Be one of them. Be one of them. But go vote. I
like it.
Right, Tom.
Yes.
Manchester City versus Manchester United. Of course, we're going to get you guys' take on this as well as people looking in. But I'm going to start with you. Haaland is unbelievable. We just say that. And he's banging form. You lot are playing great football as per usual. You're not outright top of the league, but you're round about where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Manchester United, we've obviously got 4 wins on the bounce in the Prem. Stabilised. Ten Hag's found his best team.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this as a City fan?
Oh man, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because like you say, you look at City and how we've been playing, and you look at United barring the last few weeks, and there's part of me that wants to say United are coming for a spanking. It's going to be a 4 or a 5 or one of those days. And we've seen derbies, City United derbies where it's gone like that. Do you know what I mean? I do think that Haaland is gonna I wouldn't say he's got a point to prove, but I'd say he's going to come with a different type of hunger. I think a lot of people maybe underestimate the significance of kind of his dad being a City cult hero and the role that might play in kind of him coming to City or in the way he approaches certain games. You know what I mean? I think not outside the City, not that many people knew much about Alfie Haaland, but within City he was a kind of a cult hero, and really that moment in the derby where Roy Keane infamously snapped him was kind of part of what kind of immortalised him in City history. And I think Haaland, being a young lad looking up and seeing all of that, he'll understand the significance of it, and I think that he will carry that as an extra little something into the game. Not that he seems to need anything extra to carry into the game. Yeah. So I think for that reason, I'm even more confident than I would be. But you guys have got a good record at the Etihad.
We've got a good record. I look at this game and I'm looking for performance. I think when we're early on in a manager's reign, you want some statement wins, and we've had that against Arsenal, we've had that against Liverpool. But I think this is a different test, obviously because of the opposition, but it's away from home. Yeah. It's a completely different game. I think, go on.
I was going to say, do you think your defence can stop Haaland?
Now, all the memes have been out about Lisandro Martinez, Saspa, like small, can't do nothing. He's this. Season, do you know what I mean? Last season, him and Timber did all right. They did all right against.
Because size isn't the answer against Haaland, because he's gonna throw anybody to the side anyway. So you put him up against the big 6'4" defender, and half the time he's gonna just.
He can deal with it. Anyway. You might want someone a little bit lower to the ground, aggressive, just kicking him and trying to be a pain in the arse. Look, Haaland. Yeah. Haaland can score a goal that was nothing to do with Martinez, and the next day it will be you couldn't stop Haaland, or he can dunk on him. Do you know what I mean? Anything can happen. Yeah, it's true. Or Haaland might not score. Doesn't mean Haaland shit. But there's so many things that can happen. But I just feel what I do feel is, as a United fan, is just a lot more confidence that we can go there and put in a performance, because the back line is settled. I look at Dalot, Varane now, Rolls Royce, the Wraith, the Phantom, the Ghost. You lot know what it is, They all laughed, sort of saying, obviously last year, clowning him. He was held by Ramos. He can't do nothing. His knees are gone. Ten Hag's, he went, right, one of the first things I've got to do is get him on a plan, because he needs to play. He's the best centre-back. Get the right partner next to him, which is his guy in Martinez. And they've made a partnership, and Malacia just next to that. It's really aggressive. They're switched on. And it's almost like, I take it back to what Arsenal used to do, which actually I used to laugh at them for doing it last year, actually. After every sort of, goal kick or corner that gets conceded, good interception, Ramsdale's out, he's high-fiving, puffing chest and all that. And I said, look at him. I love it now.
It builds confidence.
I love it now.
It builds confidence.
Martinez as an attacker gives a little shoulders, like, come on, Dalot's doing this. And they've just got like right, we're the back four or five with De Gea. Let's do our job. We're a little team here.
We're the foundation.
And you've seen it, innit, with Ramsdale to spearhead.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think like Man United have turned a little bit of a corner on that. I think that, listen, they was always going to be different at the end of the transfer window to the beginning of it. They've signed some, I think, spent a lot of money, but forget about it, that's Man United, but they've got in the players that they wanted, and I think that it'd be an interesting game, because I don't know how you feel. I think Manchester City have got another 2 levels at least. They've not been quite at it.
Yeah, it's true.
If I'll be honest, they struggled a little bit against Palace, a little bit of vulnerability there, but then, you knew that they was going to come back. But I think they're trying to work out how to play the best to get the best out of Haaland, which, by January, I think that'll be fixed.
And look what he's still doing
and look what he's still doing. So I think that Man United will give it a good go. I really do. But I just think
it'll be a bit
too much. Fuad?
I agree with that. I think City haven't hit those levels, as you said there. But then also, to what you said earlier, I think United playing away, Ten Hag kind of still building the if you lost this game, it's not the end of the world.
Oh, absolutely not.
We're still just kind of figuring out the process. Whereas I think for you guys, it's we still got Arsenal's getting away. Yeah. We need to catch up and we need to kind of...
exactly.
Either of you win that derby game and you'll be...
100%. So for me, I think it's just to keep that momentum. I fancy...
Well, we haven't even spoken about, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden. City got it all over the pitch, whether it's Gundogan, whether it's Rodri just sitting there conducting everything. And just on that, I mean, I'll put our midfield forward of how it's functioning right now. And I want to talk about Christian Eriksen quickly, because I love this guy. You lot here on the channel. I'm not going to do what I normally do because this is the overview. I'm not going to do the Ericsson loving thing where I said it before, you know.
I can do it for you if you want.
Yeah. Well, Fuad wants to say how good Christian Eriksen is as someone else. You know, Spurs fan. He had him before.
I'm telling you, I said this summer was the biggest mistake we never made not bringing him back. And I think obviously the money you lot offered him, it was never kind of really going to be an option. But that profile of player, the number 10, who can play the 8, who can play out wide, who's set pieces incredible. The IQ, I think, is the biggest thing I think people sleep on. Forget his technical ability. But now he's got that level of experience as well, where I just think for a free signing, you don't get much better than that. And the impact he's made already at United, he's played, I think, false 9, DM, 6 role, 8. He's played in various roles.
Every game, every position.
Every time he looks a cut above everybody. Like he's doing what Bruno should have been doing, what almost Pogba should have been doing all these years. And I'm like, this is a free signing who was collapsed on a pitch a year and a half ago, but look at the levels he's been able to get back to. For me, I think it's a credit to his mentality, but then the fact that he's been able to get himself back to this level as well.
Well,
different
guys,
class, man.
I never
Different
said
class.
it. Yeah, so you can't say, you know, you love Eriksen Flex, you're always doing this. I never said it. Fuad said it.
We ain't replaced him since he left our club.
But then again, he's got an affection to him, Spurs fan as well. But with that, I mean, he's playing really well, and we have to play on a counter-attack against you. Yeah. And I think the key is to get the ball to Christian Eriksen as quickly as he can, because he's going to have the quality to find Bruno in them half spaces, get him turned, and hopefully we've got some pace up there. But are you worried about anything from Manchester United threat wise, or do you think City, you go there, play your game?
You know what? I am a little bit, only because I think you used the word vulnerability, and I think that was kind of a good word in terms of there has been, especially defensively, we've looked like teams can get at us and can get goals against us this year. I think there's talk that John Stones might miss the game.
Hammy looked like it went against England, didn't it?
Laporte might well still be out.
If that's the case, what would that be? Ake and Akanji?
It'd probably be Ake. No, it'd probably be Akanji and is Diaz back? I think it'd be either Ake and Akanji or Akanji and Diaz. I would imagine maybe Ake and Diaz. But it's just not. It's not that regular back two. There's been a lot of chopping and changing at the back, and it just means that I could see a scenario where United come out really fired up, get an early goal against us, you know, get at that defence, get a goal, and it changes the dynamic of things a little bit. It changes the atmosphere, it changes the energy. United fans will be proper up for it in that away and making a lot of noise. And then if they could then start to frustrate Haaland and frustrate the City midfield,
then becomes that type
the momentum changes.
But that happens a lot against City.
Yeah, that can happen.
And then they just keep knocking. Then one goes in and it's like they will go on and win this game.
Now the momentum shifts. It's true.
It's a strange thing. I don't know how you feel, but it's like, you know, we're top of the table and we're just a point. I still want Manchester City to win this game because I'm looking at United as the fear for that top four.
Because they're building momentum as well for me.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
I think City are kind of in a race of their own. It's almost inevitable. I agree with you there.
So we'll keep Man United down there a little bit more.
So you want us to get pummeled?
I still think it's too early in the season.
Yeah, because at the minute you're looking and thinking, we're both sort of challenging City for the title.
But we're only a few points behind you now.
But I'm still thinking now I want City to win this one.
Yeah.
You're in a title race, Lee. That's not how.
That's the
They're not really in it. They're not really in it.
Thinking, though.
That's not how you think in a title race.
No,
it's a shootout here.
Do you know
Inferior.
What? Do you know what? Like, you won't. You know, if it was the other way around, I just feel that, because you just feel like with City, they're not quite out yet, but they're gonna be.
Yeah.
But Man United are building something.
Yeah.
So let's get as many points as we can in front of
them. Away at that.
I agree.
I feel you. I'm with you on that.
I think for Arsenal as well, I think for you to even have a good chance of putting together a title run, I think it's important to try and create some separation from the rest of the pack, so you're not playing looking over the shoulder. We're looking, it changes the conversation into Arsenal are after City instead of the conversation constantly being about are Tottenham going to catch him, are United going to catch him, are they going to drop out?
That's how top four was last year, baby.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. Arsenal don't want to be in a situation where they're 3 bad results away from being pulled back into the top 4 battle.
The top 4 last year, I'll be honest, was inconsistent, wasn't it? Like, we was inconsistent. What you want now, that's what I want from Arsenal, is a consistency, and we're starting to show that a little bit now. So if we can go and beat, Tottenham, and we've got that, and then then that Man United don't beat Man City. You're saying about points are getting a bit closer. You're getting further away.
You need that bit of separation.
We need that little.
Because we're not supposed to. be in that top 4 race,
Well, but
really.
listen,
Well,
if you
before,
win-
I was saying, before the season started, obviously from where we were coming from last year, I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, just get Ten Hag in, let him get players out, it's going to take time, let him get players in, maybe 5th at best, just work on a style of play. But similar to what happened to you guys last season, I remember you guys starting with those sorts of aspirations of, oh mate, look at us, 6th at best, and then it goes on, you get towards January, you're like, well, I'll tell you what, no, this is a top 4 race now, and then it changes.
And then if you beat City, then
we're in a title race, mate.
You don't want the teams above you.
They would have dropped points,
You'd have dropped 2 of the teams out there. So like you'd have knocked City out of it, points off of them, and Arsenal and Spurs, whatever happens, one of them's going to. So it could be a very, very good. Well, I'm not going to say that. But like, and that's the worry. So come on, City.
Yeah, but I think that's what's happened every year in the top 4 race. It seems like no team can really string together consistency, and it's almost like the best of the worst gets top 4. If that makes sense.
Want to get there now, don't you?
I think more than ever this year as well. I think the rest of the Premier League has actually increased in quality. So I think the race is going to be even more interesting. And as I said, seasons long. You've got a World Cup in the middle as well. This year is going to be a funny year for sure.
Is Haaland going to break goal scoring records this year for you? You know, there's a lot of talk about he's going to break Salah's record, and I've even heard some shouts of the Ronaldo, Messi in 1 calendar year shouts and all them kind of things. With at the rate he's scoring, the mathematicians and the statistics guys and that are out there saying if he keeps scoring at this rate,
then that will happen.
Then that would happen. Obviously, he would need to keep scoring at this rate.
And he'd have to
How
stay
do you
fit.
feel? Do you care about any of that, or is it, you know?
Not really. I mean, it is nice. It's a nice feeling to have like an out-and-out striker that's doing that, because we haven't had that for a while since Aguero. And even with Aguero, as incredible as he was, because he was so injury-plagued,
he weren't robust enough.
You know, really. I mean, for him to get where we got to in the all-time Premier League scorers list,
I think he gets
so
disrespected
many
as well,
runs,
Aguero.
You know, so he never really had a full season where he could go for one of them records. So that is nice. But I think I'd just be happy with us. I'd just be happy with him being the difference between getting a Champions League, with him being the difference between us being able to. I'd much rather us be able to get a treble this year and him not break any records.
Whoa.
Well, I would just, you know, these are the
his aspirations are getting a bit high. I don't really like this.
It's mad because this is the kind of level that you get to now as a club that's been at that, you know, that's been winning at that top level for a while.
How do you achieve
and you realise
greatness?
that football
You've got to think
happens
about
in
it.
cycles. You know what I mean? Like Arsenal had to wait a while for their come around. You guys have had to wait a while to get back with your come around. So, you know, if you don't tick off that treble or you don't tick off the Champions League, and at some point Pep moves on and you have a moment where you move back round that cycle, then it might be a while until you get your chance.
Do you care about that? Any City fan I come across, I feel like, or if I'm watching content online or whatever, they get asked. I'm sure you're tired about this, about the Champions League thing.
Yeah.
Do you care as a City fan about that, or are you one of the City fans that are like, listen, I remember, like we were jokingly saying, Gillingham away.
Yeah.
That's our journey where we've come from. We're not defined by that Champions League, or do you think you do need that to become like we're City?
Okay. I think I've cared more as the years have gone on. I think especially the last 2 years of getting so close and not getting it has made me care more.
Yeah, you've been agonising.
That's made me care more and then it becomes less about the Champions League and it becomes more about trying to correct some of the pain of those situations. I think, you know, to speak about them kind of before the glory years, whether you're going back as far as Gillingham or even just going back as far as the years when we were in the Prem but United were dominating and we were just fighting it out, you know, a lot of the desire to get that first trophy or get that first Premier League wasn't necessarily about the Premier League. It was trying to overcome and put right all them years of pain, all them years of United doing what they were doing and us getting relegated or having a hard time. So I think now the Champions League has took on a little bit of that, where it's more than a trophy now. It's about putting right that Real Madrid evening. It's about putting right that final against Chelsea. So now it is important, and I do want it. But one thing that I would say is that I never feel like, I would happily just dash away the Premier League this year for the Champions League. Like the Premier League always holds that kind of.
So you haven't got any like bored of winning it, you know, 4 out of the last 5. It's like good.
Just keep dominating the
Premier League.
Dominate it. Yeah. Especially because of how competitive
I've
never
been a defining person of that. Arsenal have never won it. Like, obviously, I'd love to win it, but it's never been like, I've got to win the Champions League.
We're not complete until we've done it.
I think like, you know, being champions of England, I still think holds a lot more because it's
but worldwide, isn't when you get your European stamp, doesn't that propel you
the best in
into a...
Europe, though, does it?
No, not in that thing.
You're
But
talking
when you
about, like,
have...
the
when you
super club status. where
Yeah,
you're amongst the
I
elite.
feel it does give you a little sprinkle to say, do you know what,
100%.
you've cleaned up domestically and you're good, but it's like, to be like remembered as one of the great teams, I think you need those in your locker alongside the league titles, the cups.
You need a lot of luck to win, as Man United would know.
Yeah, Fergie only got 2. You know what I mean?
Need a lot of luck to win those competitions, and I think like the league tells you who's the best seed. So that's how I feel. Listen, don't get me wrong, I'd love to win it, but I don't think I don't look at Man City and think, they've got to win it to make. I know they're a bloody good side. You know what I mean? I
do definitely think though, City players and even Pep would look back disappointed if they went through this kind of, let's say, 7-8 year spell with no Champions League, having dominated domestically the way they have, the quality of players,
and dominate a lot of teams in Europe when they're playing.
The rebuild not only of Pellegrini and Mancini's team, but then also this kind of rebuild that he's going through now. And it's like, I've had 2 teams and I still haven't won it. I think there'll be a kind of little bit of, was that kind of our best moment to ever do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Back to the game just real quickly, just from a Man United point of view, I have got concerns because, as we know right now, at the time of recording, we haven't had the press conferences yet to see what's happened, but I'm pretty certain there's not going to be any Rashford or Martial. And you know what? Ronaldo being fit and being the only available striker actually gives Ten Hag a headache. Yeah, it actually does. And I know that sounds crazy but he's already set his marker out about what he wants to do in these type of games, which is counter-attacking football, mobile players. Ronaldo was the 3rd choice striker against Liverpool. Martial, who was already injured, who could only imagine 45 minutes, came on ahead of him against Liverpool. He didn't start against Arsenal, came on late on and did okay once the game was a bit stretched. Ten Hag has started Ronaldo only in away in the Champions League. In the Champions League, I wish. In the Europa League against Sheriff, because no one was fit then. But the first time he did it on a rotation basis to start him against Sociedad at home, and we lost, and he didn't look very good. And I worry, because the only way to hurt you is that. And I'm thinking, I don't know if Ten Hag even starts Ronaldo. He might even do. Yeah. He might even go, I need a Langer in there to run, because I don't have Rashford, I don't have Martial, and I need some pace in there. Does he go Sancho? False nine. Does he go
Anthony Elanga?
I just think he, and people can say that's crazy, but I just think Ten Hag, he's always been reluctant to, we've seen it in proof that he's been reluctant to start Ronaldo in the 2 biggest games we had of the season, Liverpool and Arsenal, nowhere near it. And he just completed 90 minutes against Brentford, the game before Liverpool. Didn't go for it. We'd rather have Rashford running through the middle. So that worries me. I don't know how we'll hurt you if we don't have that mobility up front. Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, prediction times.
Yes.
What are you saying? It's all said and done now. I'm guessing you think your team's going to win, though.
I do. I'm gonna go 4-1 City.
Do you know what's mad about him saying that? Yeah.
And that's not me trying to be saucy. I swear to God, I could have said 6 or something. So 4 was me like
no, because you know what's crazy. Because when you first started talking about the game, you said, listen, I could say we'll batter them up, all that, but at the end of the day, Man United is this. And you made a lot of cases why it's going to be a close game. Like, but I said all that. 4-1 settings. Sweet. Even the TV wants to turn off now. You just said that. 4-1 settings, mate. 4-1. And you know what the worst thing is? If they open up the floodgates and we let one in earlier, so it could happen. But I'm obviously not going to agree with you. Good. I feel like there's something in this for us to get a positive result. I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw. I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw, and at best, even better than that, I think we could frustrate the hell out of you, make it ugly, and nick it 1-0.
Yeah, or 2-1. I could see that.
Yeah, or 2-1 or something. So I'm gonna go on the side of positivity. I know what I'm gonna get over this side. Lee, what's gonna happen in this game?
I just think Man United will do okay. I think, but I think City will come through 2-0.
Fuad?
I think 2-1.
2-1.
I think,
City.
Yeah. City.
Yeah. So there's no way Man United win this game.
I think home advantage is a big thing. Listen, not many teams are going to go to Man City and get a result, like, you know. So
I think the Rashford loss is big as well.
Just saying that now.
That's what I mean.
The games he played in the big games over the last month or so, I think he's been massive.
Good,
and to the system.
He's an
as
outlet.
well.
He's just quick and he's direct. Right. Okay. Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments. Smash a like on the video as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Remember, you can vote for us in the Football Content Awards. Links in the video description below, and you can join the members club as well. There's also a link to do that in the description below as well. Let's quickly talk about the other teams in the top 6 that are playing this week. It's Graham Potter's first Premier League game. They take a trip to, because remember the games were postponed. They only played that game they drew in the Champions League. Was that against Sparta Prague? Who was that against? Yeah. Big move for him. Big move. Chelsea are travelling to Crystal Palace away. Always a tricky game. How do you see Graham Potter and Chelsea?
It's weird. So unexpected, to be fair, because he was doing. I thought Brighton started so well in the season as well. I was thinking maybe they could do a Conference League charge, maybe. But then when you get a call like that, I guess you can't really say no. For me, I'll be interested to see if Chelsea as a club now with the board takeover, the chairman I feel like has now got his man in. He's had the guy who's fighting the establishment. I've got my yes man in, but I think he's also got a coach in who really wants to build an identity at this club. Is he going to be given that time? Are Chelsea now going to change this chop and change style of results? He's got a lot of signings coming over the summer as well, but none of them are his. How does he kind of incorporate that as well? Chelsea have been known to play very defensive, but he plays in that same system, but it's actually quite attacking.
It's quite offensive, yeah.
I want to see this Chelsea story is going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at them as they could be the fall guys in the top 4 if Arsenal and United get back in.
Yeah, people said that before the season even started.
I think Chelsea, if there's one thing they've shown, is no matter what happens when there's disaster, we will sack our manager and then we will leave at the end of the season with something, whether it's an FA Cup, a Europa League.
So you wouldn't put it past them, it goes wrong with Potter for a little while and then it gets to February or something, they go
FA
right.
Cup winners and
and they scrape top 4. Yeah, they are ruthless. How do you see it, Lee?
I think Chelsea are going to struggle. I really do. I think because exactly what it said there. Like, I think like the way they play is going to have to change, and I think that's going to take a little bit of time for him to get his methods over and things like that. And he would have liked it. You don't want to go Crystal Palace away, and it's your first game.
Tough game,
that. You know, it's a tough game, you know, because I think if you're being really honest, you're expected to, but you know, like if you're a Man United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester City, you're expected to go. Oh, you should expected to go there and win. It's not quite like that. It's a tough place to go, and if you're not quite on it, they will exploit.
New manager bounce though, maybe.
I don't know. I didn't bounce that well against
Sparta,
because he hasn't
looked
really
a bit the
stuff.
same, but he's only been there.
That's what I'm saying. Probably just got through the door.
A lot of players on international duty, so he hasn't had that time really to work with it. So I think that, you know,
how could there be that much different in this space?
I just feel that Chelsea are going to be a little bit hit and miss. You know, you're going to get good games and then get bad games. Like, you know, hopefully when you play them, you're on a bad day.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, you know, this ain't going to be all honey and roses for Potter. Like, you know, I think he's going to find it a little bit tougher than what he thought.
Okay, you two give me a prediction on this game, Chelsea Palace.
Chelsea 2-1.
Palace 2-1.
Oh, yeah. Palace 2-1. We're going to take this game. We're going to talk about Liverpool Brighton. Liverpool got players back now.
Another team with a new manager, or Brighton.
Brighton obviously just lost Graham Potter, so as flying as they was and their fluidity and how they play, are the players just going to take that on board? Does the manager go in and try and do as little, in a weird way, try and do as little as possible? Because it's like, those guys play that, but then as a manager coming in, you still have to stamp yourself. You can't just go do what the last guy done. Yeah. But on Liverpool, obviously they've got players back now. I watched them against Ajax and with Thiago back in there, you know, Matip back in there. They need players back in midfield. They looked a lot better, and obviously they'll want to start kicking on now. Are they still your nearest challengers for the title, or have Arsenal maybe? Yeah.
Oh no! It's over for Liverpool this season. I think they've dropped too many points. I think that the problems they've had at the start of the season weren't just a blip. I think they are going into a bit of a rebuild. I think we're seeing just how good Mane is in his absence. I think
A lot of Liverpool fans hate when you say that as well. I've spoken to
but
a
it's
few,
true,
and they're
man.
like, people keep saying that it's
But
Mane
it's
and that
true.
they don't like it.
I'm not saying it's just Mane.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's a rebuild that's happening. There's certain other players that are starting to age out in the middle of the park, and there's other stuff going on. But I just think they've lost too many games and they've dropped too many points to be in with title contention. But I do think that this Brighton game will be the start of them pushing on again. I think that they probably were one of the teams that was glad for the breaks that we've had. I think Brighton are going to be affected by all of these staff that have left, and I think Liverpool will win that game. And I think that actually this weekend could kind of be a bit of a weekend of like a bit of correction in the table, because the table looks a bit mad at the moment.
Yeah,
But Chelsea managed to beat
Fulham up
Brighton.
there, yeah.
If Liverpool managed to win, all of a sudden the top 6, you could have City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool all back in there, and it could have kind of, I don't want to say corrected
order.
itself like they're meant to be there, but it wouldn't look as crazy as it's looked with just one weekend of results. So I think Liverpool, unfortunately, will do the business against Brighton.
Yeah, I think I do as well, to echo that. I think they will start getting back to business. Title charge, I think because you're so good and so consistent, you just can't give that sort of gap. I mean, you did it the other way around last year.
Yeah.
Well, at one stage, I remember City were like 12 points off or something like that.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Then they went, right,
Yeah.
it's time to just whack.
Let's get
just
going.
bang 20.
Christmas
Like,
period,
do you know what I mean? Let's just go on that run and we'll be all right. I don't know if Liverpool can do that the other way around. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think Brighton are going to lose against Liverpool. I'm going to go 3-1.
I think I'll go same, yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
stealing your answer, but I think that's how I
3-1.
feel.
And just really quickly, we're just going to go through these. I just want predictions. Okay. Fulham, Newcastle.
Fulham 1-0.
Yeah. Bro.
Yeah, Mitro.
It's a bit mad. We did a couple other shows and I've done some predictions. It's like you heard the show. The show's not even out yet. And you weren't there. I like that. Fulham, Newcastle. Newcastle getting
2-0
booed
on
at the
that.
moment.
I think Fulham are
Yeah.
a decent side this year.
Slept on.
Yeah. All right. We'll take this one. Southampton, Everton.
I fancy Everton to go and get a win. I feel like Everton have been playing good football. I feel like Lampard's been doing something there and they're waiting to get a win for all of their hard work. So I think Everton will get a 2-1 win, I'm going to say.
West Ham, Wolves.
That's a hard one, that, isn't it?
It's a weird one, that.
West Ham have got some good players.
And they
there,
need a
like,
win
you know,
as well.
They need a win, like,
Wolves
you know,
do as well.
Moyes has come under a little bit of pressure, which
Yeah.
surprises me. Like,
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
but I think home advantage, and I keep saying that, like, you know, I think West Ham would just have enough of that. But it won't be easy.
I'm going Wolves there. Mateus Nunes.
Okay.
Something's cooking.
Okay, and staying with you for Bournemouth take on Brentford. Brentford playing for the first time since obviously
Brentford need
losing
to get
against
something
Arsenal.
back. Brentford need to get something
Yeah,
back.
because they
I
were
think.
really bad
Yeah,
against Arsenal. Arsenal were really good
bad.
that day, but
Yeah.
even for Brentford, they were poor.
There's levels,
Yeah.
I think, this is the type of game where I think they want to let Bournemouth know, listen, we're the OGs in the Premier League now. I think 2-0, I'll go Brentford.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I think same. I think Ivan Toney could hit the ground running and just keep showing people what he's
Remember, he
about.
didn't play a single minute on the
Yeah.
international.
Exactly.
He's got a chip on
He's
his
going to want
shoulder.
to
He
come
has,
back
he's got to
and
come
show
through
guys
something.
I wasn't just there to be there, make up numbers.
Yeah, and probably the most interesting game of the weekend out of these two games, I think anyway, is Leeds versus Villa. Like, it's a bit of an entertaining one. It's like, don't really know what's going to happen there.
3-3.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or a 0-0. Like, it just could be anything. Fuad, I forgot, what are you saying for that? Leeds, Villa?
I got 2-2.
Yeah. Last game Leeds played, even though it seemed ages ago, was battered 5-2 by Brentford. That's the last time they actually played. And the last game for Villa was 1-0 Southampton.
I think Villa, there's always chaos in their defence, and I think Leeds are very good attacking wise.
Yeah.
But then if Villa can hit the right groove as well, they can score goals. It could be, as you said, either the most boring game in the fixture week, or the most entertaining. I'm going entertaining.
Gerrard under pressure for you? Want to see a bit more from him?
Oh, 100%. I think
wins
Gerrard.
now,
I think
Yeah,
Gerrard's
stabilised a little bit.
not under pressure because he's Gerrard at the moment.
Yeah.
I think if
It goes a long way. It's a big currency,
I
that is.
think he's got a little bit of, but I think that he's got to start picking up results, and Leeds is going to be one. But I don't see it. I think Leeds at home are a different animal to they are away from home. I think Leeds will win that.
Okay, to finish off real quickly, I can't have you guys here all on set here at UVHQ and not ask you this. I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Give me your top four.
City, Arsenal, Tottenham. City, Arsenal, Tottenham, United.
What do you think we'll sneak in there, yeah?
Go on, I'll give it
So
you.
that's in order as well.
Yeah.
All right, Lee?
City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool.
Yeah, that's
Chelsea,
probably what I
United,
should have
not
said. I probably should have
Oh,
had
you left
Liverpool at
Liverpool
4.
out.
I should have had Liverpool at 4,
yeah.
but I don't
you
know,
just
man.
you just
I
feel
don't
like
know.
they'll
I don't
slip
know. I'll keep you guys
Okay.
in the top 4.
Fuad?
Okay.
Mine, I think Liverpool. I still think they'll recover.
And win the league.
Win the league?
No.
Oh, just not
Lord.
order.
No.
This is just...
City,
Sorry.
I think is
Yeah,
unanimous.
okay.
Default
Oh, so
champions.
Liverpool second.
Liverpool second. I think United third. Chelsea fourth. Arsenal fifth. Spurs sixth.
Wow.
Spurs
Go
six,
put that one in the
really?
bookies now.
What, you think it what? So that's Conte sacking. That's Conte walk.
No,
That's
it's not.
We should have
That's-
started with
that's
this.
Conte
Sixth.
potentially walking, but
yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry,
There's
yeah,
still
that's him had enough.
There's still January to come. There's
Why do you
still
think
work
this?
To do. But I said I don't think if
Yeah.
you look at all the top 6, I don't think we had the best window. I think we had the best start. I think you look at the football we're playing.
Yeah.
It's not
It hasn't
great.
changed
All of
it.
a sudden, when the results start to go bad, it's like, oh, what the hell are Spurs? I think you look at a lot of the other teams. They're ahead. I think United were the
think
ones
United
maybe,
get third as well?
I think a lot of people are sleeping on what Ten Hag is building. I think he's building a real identity, and I think the quality you lot signed at the end of the window is what pushed me over you lot. I think Chelsea, now they got Potter in, for me, they're the question mark.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're
Not
kind of
sure,
going to
yeah.
get. I'm a hater, so I'm hoping their bubble bursts and some point Europa League takes effect. So I'm being honest there. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to be optimistic and say,
Always liked him. He's clever lad, you know. Listen, guys, thanks for watching the overview. It's been absolutely fantastic. Big up to you for coming on, bro. Appreciate that,
Pleasure
Tom.
and privilege.
Judge,
Appreciate it.
love
Always a
that,
pleasure.
bro.
As
Fuad, always wicked. Smash a like on the video, guys. You don't know what to do. Remember, you can vote for us in the Football Content Awards and join the channel membership. That link is in the video description below. Let us know if you agree with the predictions that have gone on today in both derbies. 4-1 over here. 4-1 confident. Confident Arsenal, confident Spurs as well, ish. Let us know what you think about all the other results as well. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.